Hello, beautifuls. How are you? Today, I'm going to be starting a short series of videos on organic sacred sexuality. First, I want to say that there has been a little bit of confusion about the use of the word organic when talking about sacred sexuality. I do a lot of communing on my own, and I was a little reluctant to understand what spirit means, but I was reluctant to use that word organic. And although I'm probably not going to use it in the title so much, I feel it's still important to use, and they describe to me why it's important to use. And the explanation is very relevant to what I'm going to be talking about today. Utilizing the term organic sacred sexuality, that's because organic meaning pure, meaning undistorted, uncorrupted, unadulterated from its original state. Now, we have come to a place, unfortunately, as a society where sexuality has almost been used as a weapon to remove us from our organic state of being. And when thinking about this, we need to remember that the purest part of ourselves, the truest part of ourselves, is source, is the creator, is that pure light of love and life force. One could say that sacred sexuality is organic sacred sexuality isn't just, someone can take sacred sexuality and think about sex magic, and that's a thing with organic sacred sexuality too, but that could go in many different directions, and some of which are still distorted. And so I do feel like there are discerning factors between just straight sacred sexuality and organic sacred sexuality. And I feel like that line will become clearer as we move through this series. And today I want to focus on the distortions and where these distortions come from of our sexuality, because one of the first things we want to do is begin to purify ourselves and release whatever programming and distortions we hold in regards to sexuality. Of course, there is the media, all types of media, even social media, TV, movies, pornography. And why is all of that negative? Why does that remove us from our organic nature? Well, take pornography. It's created to be an addiction. It's created to get people hooked, get people paying. In pornography, it's very much made for men, but men and women watch them because women feel like they're going to learn how to be more appealing by doing so. But then in doing so, you watch it and you're like, well, I guess that's how it's supposed to go. That's how I guess most women feel good, because she's like moaning and stuff, and that's what he's gonna like, right? If you're with a guy who's watching that all the time, that might be what he's accustomed to at this point, but that is so far from organic sexuality, especially this whole jackrabbit thing. That's not how you please a woman. That is not how a woman gets pleased. And ladies, please know that it's natural for that to be like, oh, whatever, glad you're having fun back there. And also, those camera angles are very, it's not, they're taken to show certain views for a man's pleasure. Men tend to be more visual in how they're turned on, where women, of course, some women are visual, but I'm talking about tendencies to be more feelers. What I will say is that while I was doing some work in these areas, I realized there are so many men out there addicted to porn, addicted to sex, addicted to just the next shocking thing. And it has nothing to do with love. It has nothing to do with intimacy. It has to do with things like domination and control. It has to do with the next big shocking thing, the next big adrenaline rush. It's just addiction to the dopamine, really. And in that knowingness, and then just saying, you know what, I want to enjoy my intimate times. I just said, you know what, I'm just going to enjoy myself and see how this works. And, guess what, ladies? If you want to please a man, just enjoy yourself and do whatever it is that you need him to do to help him accommodate you in enjoying yourself. And I can guarantee you that he will enjoy that. Move his hands, even if you have to control them. Use him as a toy. I feel like this could be such a great teaching tool from one partner to another. And it could also be healing for us as a society. Don't hesitate to do that. Don't hesitate to do that. Because really what I believe most men want from my experience is just they want that intimacy, and they want to feel you feeling good. And I feel like we're enjoying these types of encounters the most when we're feeling each other feeling good. When we're having an energetic connection strong enough to where we're both, whether we identify as empaths or not, we're both feeling ourselves and our partner at the same time. And that's when you reach these really, really high ecstatic states. And it's very intimate, very beautiful. And of course, with media like TV, movies, even social media, it's kind of this thing that's like just always there. And so it leads us to feel like everything is sexualized when we're indulging in that stuff. Personally, because I've had so many unveilings, I can't really, unless I smoke a lot of weed or something like that. I don't watch TV or movies once in a blue. And there's a lot more constructive use of our thought energy than participating in that, although I understand the need to dissociate. I will say that to dissociate like that, sometimes you go for it. It's a personal choice. But if you're really trying to purify your mind, you want to be very mindful of what you're watching, and also you want to really not do it too much, because then you're programming yourself with the same old societal stuff that you've always programmed yourself with. And I can guarantee you, if you're anything like me and you have enough unveilings and you lift enough veils of the third eye, you won't even be able to enjoy it, because all you'll see is incongruency. And that'll come naturally. But I definitely suggest, maybe for me, I don't know, like a couple of times a month. But I wouldn't spend more than like 4 hours a week, honestly, if that, watching TV, watching movies. If like like for me, the hardest part about that is sometimes I just want to have something to do while I'm snuggling with my partner. And he is one that needs his mind constantly occupied. I'm not that way. I'm just happy with laying there a lot of the time. And so we like to put something on. But because I don't really like to watch fiction all that much, I feel like documentaries are different, because they're nourishing your mind, and it's not actually, there's not like as much weird stuff in it, if there is. And there's also this idea that from media and things that we watch, and even in school and social media, this constant release. You feel it, you want to release it right away. That's not how we were intended to be. That sexual energy, what it is creative energy. And so when you're aroused, what you're feeling is the inspiration to create with that individual. And that could mean create energetic fun together. It could mean that you're meant to work together somehow, but you don't just want to jump on it just because you get that inkling. It's not about constant release. And further, that constant release will age you. I'm telling you. I'll go deeper into this at a later date, but it's all about the endocrine glands. And I'm going to circle back around to this because there's another point about the endocrines that's really important. The lower endocrine glands are the sexual endocrine glands, and that's the stovehouse of our life force. So the life force is generated there, where it moves up to the adrenals, where we hold our soul blueprint, and then from there it kind of controls how aligned we are, where it gets sent out and everything like that. And fast forward up to the pituitary. The pituitary is what controls our age and stuff like that, and how fast we age. A lot what we're meant to do with that energy, a lot of the time, not all the time, is allow it to concentrate, and instead of releasing it, we want to send it up our central channel. Send it all the way up, Kundalini style, and send it into the pituitary. And the pituitary, you let it cleanse and nourish and imbue that pituitary with life force. And then after a minute, because you don't want to give yourself too bad of a headache, you let it come out back in through the crown and back down the central channel, and you could just keep on letting it build and send it up and nourish that pituitary. I actually, as it's going down, I like to visualize it coming through the hypothalamus. And the hypothalamus is also very important. And this is another way where we've kind of had our sexuality massively distorted. There's no secret that the products we use, a lot of the conventional products that we have access to, a lot of the foods, from beauty products to the plastic that foods are stored in, to glycophosphate that's used in conventional produce, to isolating certain proteins to make vegan substitutes. It's all endocrine disruptors. And our body is run by our glands. And so when we're talking about the sexual organs, we're talking about the gonads, we're talking about the ovaries. And so the pituitary and hypothalamus work together on several axes that govern the endocrine system. And while everything is always connected, these are axes that have like a super special connection. When we're talking about sexual health, we're talking about the hypothalamus, pituitary, and ovarian axis, and the hypothalamus, pituitary, and gonadal axis. And if you look at certain things that are happening in society today, and you take in consideration that pituitary is in control of our aging, and the hypothalamus is also in control of, and that works with the pituitary for the same thing, in control of the male or female traits that we hold, and whether we feel more male or female. And so that being said, if we are being raised on endocrine disruptors from a family that uses lots of inorganic meat, inorganic produce, or conventional shampoo right on the head and stuff like that. And plus, not just that, but the plastics in baby bottles. Did you know that babies, by the time they're a year old, they get over 100 times the amount of plastic that they're meant to get in a lifetime? It's crazy. And it's no wonder why we have gender confusion en masse in our society today. I believe that the root of this is in endocrine disruption combined with societal programming. And at the same time, I believe that everyone, is free to do what they want to do and live how they want to live and be who they want to be. But at the same time, I can't ignore that there are factors that most people are unaware of that affect some of these decisions and feelings. And then there's a lot of factors here that are leading to the distortion of our sexuality that has over time brought it from organic to inorganic. You take all of that and from the one pole, the media like hypersexualizes us and things like that. The endocrine disruptors get everything confused. And on the other side of that, you have these different religions and ways of spirituality. And it's both. It's just as much Christian type stuff, as well as I see certain people of yogic traditions say that desire is not good. Pleasure, you shouldn't be pleasing yourself, or there's shame and guilt involved in that. And I feel like the shame and guilt comes from both poles. But so here's the thing. There should be no shame or guilt. Shame, guilt, sex, intimacy, love should not be anywhere in the same sentence except for opposite day. Shame, guilt, sex, love should not be together in the same sentence ever, except for opposite day. And we don't have opposite day, so it shouldn't happen. Even if we're in a place of being hypersexual, it's no reason for shame, no reason for guilt. It just means, well, maybe our sacral chakras are kind of in a place of being a vacuum, and it's something that we want to work on to reach our next level of perfected state. Because here's the thing, there's no shame. This is the game that we're playing right now, but at the same time, we want to be aware that maybe we're releasing what could be used for self-activation to make our bodies more healthy, to help our bodies stay more youthful, to help us stay more centered and focused. It's all about escaping that polarity, right? We don't want to be hedonistic, but we want to enjoy this reality and our bodies and all that it has to offer, including pleasure, including sensuality, including sex, including intimacy. But we want to continue to strive to do that in a healthier, higher vibrational way. And I will add to that there's all these different things coming up as far as maybe you've had a ton of partners, maybe you don't like commitment. When I say sex needs to be out of love, that doesn't necessarily mean commitment. It doesn't. You can have sex and very loving sex with someone that you love very, very much and highly honor and highly respect. And you still don't have to have a commitment. It doesn't have to last forever. Some people, as precious as they are to you, you're only meant to meet them briefly and interact with them briefly and impact each other for a certain time. And then you move on for a while until you meet again somewhere far off in the future. And that's where non-attachment comes in. There's a lot of things here that I'm going to be talking about and in deeper detail. I do want to wrap this up on that, but I will add in what I get for my definition of organic sacred sexuality if I were just to put it in one sentence and to really satisfy myself and how I define it. I'm going to be putting it in more than one sentence, but I just want to leave you with this. Sacred sexuality is the merging of two people's energies, the loving merging of two people's energies with honor and love. And it could be the merging of bodies too. It's definitely the energies, and it usually also includes the bodies. And it's this loving merging to mimic the creation of all that is, to better express the unity of all life. And it never, ever results in any feelings other than positive feelings. That I will leave you with. And all of these distortions, all of these programmings, we are going to want to release them, and it's going to be a process. I wouldn't say that I'm finished. That's a pretty bold statement, but I've gone pretty far along in releasing a lot of this programming, and I'll be creating some things that will assist you in doing so as well, if that's what you wish to do. I want to send you all so much love, and I hope this was easy to digest, and I hope this wasn't too graphic of a conversation. And until next time, have a wonderful day.